A prophecy is stating that one of Zeus's children will take his throne and kill their siblings. Can Wonder Woman prevent this from happening? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Last time, Wonder Woman was protecting a woman who was carrying Zeus's baby. There is a prophecy that states that a child of Zeus will take the throne by force, and everyone in Olympus believes it to be this child. Zeus himself went missing, and Hera started a war against the mother and the child. But eventually, Apollo took the throne, exiled Hera to be immortal, and told Wonder Woman to kill the child if he is the child of the prophecy. When Wonder Woman went back, she discovered that her friend Hermes had kidnapped the child, and she has now begun a quest to speak to her demigod siblings to find the child. Her next stop is to speak with Milan of New York, but someone else has arrived ahead of her. Orion of the New Gods, because he has been told that the end of the universe is coming from Earth. Milan is a large man with a bandana over his eyes, and he sees Orion as his space friend. And Orion knows of Milan's abilities, one that tortures Milan every time that he uses it. So to make a deal, Milan gets a joyride on Orion's space contraption if he's willing to see what Orion is looking for. While this is going on, Wonder Woman and Lennox are discussing seeking out another of their kin to see if he can help them track down Zola's baby. Once they decide to find Milan, they tell Hera and Zola to stay here in the hotel. And then they walk to the outskirts of the city where they find a subway and Lennox goes ahead of Wonder Woman. The blacksmith of the gods then walks out of nowhere and asks to see Wonder Woman. She is surprised, but she walks over and he begins tinkering with her bracers that he gave her, telling her that his work is never done. Then he leaves. Lennox walks deeper into the subway until he finds Milan. Milan doesn't like Lennox though, not after what he did to their sister. Lennox tells him that it wasn't personal, but as much as Milan wants him to go, Milan can't make him leave. That's when Orion appears behind Lennox. I can. Back in the hotel, Hera and Zola are getting bored and they decide to take in the sights of the city. Everything will be fine. Lennox explains that he's here to ask for Milan's help, to find a new child of Zeus, the last of the children. Orion then grabs Lennox, demanding to know where the last of the line is. Where is he? Diana walks over, seeing Orion attacking her brother, and she tells Orion to let him go. Orion stubbornly tells her, make me. So Diana leaps into the area and her bracers create swords for her, a new ability that the blacksmith of the gods gave her. Meanwhile, over in the Antarctic, the firstborn, the child that everyone is actually scared of, has decided to begin his assault on Olympus and its gods. He was buried beneath the earth by his father Zeus, due to the prophecy so long ago that time even forgot that he existed. Hades summons 3 ice giants to battle against the firstborn, telling him that he will kill him again. But the firstborn is so powerful that he drops all 3 of these giants without even a real fight. And then coated in blood, he announces, Olympus, I am coming for you. Back in the subway tunnels, Milan decides to put an end to the fighting by using his flies and maggots to coat everyone there, suffocating them until they stop fighting. While this is going on, Hera and Zola have made their way down to a bar, where Hera is overwhelmed by the options of drinks until a rather weary-looking Ares, the god of war, walks over to tell her to try gin. Down on the subway, they sort the whole mess out, explaining to Orion that they are all after the same child, which shocks Orion because he wasn't aware that he was sent to fight an infant. Milan still doesn't want to use his gift, but Diana is really nice to him, and he likes his new sister, so for his baby brother, he'll try. He removes the bandana around his eyes, revealing maggots crawling out of his head, and his ability, the power to see everything in the entire world. He screams out in pain, but he tells Diana that he found the child. The child is with Hermes and a tree lady in a castle of roots. Diana knows the place. Hermes brought the child to Demeter, but she doesn't know how to get there. Back at the bar, other gods have started to appear out of the woodwork. But eventually, after Orion, Lennox, and Diana all go back to the hotel, they track Zola and Hera to the same bar. Then, thanks to Orion's boom tube, they all appear there. Diana is shocked by everyone that is there, but the biggest shocker is seeing Ares there, because she assumed that he would be here to kill her, but he actually just wanted to talk. Meanwhile, the firstborn is traveling over the ocean with the woman that found him, and they are attacked by a giant shark. Back at the bar, Ares offers to aid Diana in getting to Demeter's domain, because her first idea was to have Hera do it, but that isn't going to work since Hera is now mortal. He leads Diana to the rooftop garden where he pulls a plant out, revealing the path to the Castle of Roots. The firstborn leaps out of his helicopter and into the mouth of the shark. He then proceeds to beat on it using the blades of the helicopter. Poseidon taunts the firstborn, telling him that he is a nameless little monster, and the firstborn responds by tearing the teeth out of the shark. Poseidon himself then rises out of the ocean, informing the firstborn that he will do much worse than the shark. Ares and Diana walk into Demeter's area, and then Ares asks, "What is the point of all of this? How will Zola keep her baby safe?" And Diana tells him that she'll find a way to protect the child. That's when Hermes enters the fight using his bird feet. He then claws up Ares' back, taking him out of the fight. Diana turns on her bracers, bringing out her new swords, and she begins swinging them around at Hermes. They go back and forth, clashing with their weapons over and over. And Hermes comments that she now has War and the blacksmith on her side. She is going to turn his whole family against him, isn't she? But Diana dodges him, telling him that she doesn't want to fight. "What is it that you want then?" "The baby." Hermes smirks, and so does Diana. "I'm gonna have to fight you, aren't I?" They both leap in to continue their battle. While this is happening, the firstborn wields the helicopter blades, prepared to fight Poseidon himself. And his uncle replies by swinging a tentacle down on the firstborn. He leaps into the air, dodging each of the tentacles, informing him that he will send him to hell. While this is happening, Diana and Hermes are going back and forth, but Hermes is clearly the faster fighter, getting his hits in left and right. There is no one faster than Hermes. He tells Diana that the baby's protection was charged to him, and he doesn't need her help anymore. That's when suddenly there is a boom as Orion's boom tube opens up and he grabs Diana. They begin zipping around the castle with Hermes chasing them furious, telling her that it doesn't matter who she brings to the fight. While they continue their battle, Ares walks over to Demeter and they begin to have a talk about purpose and consequence. Demeter accuses him of being out of his mind, but he informs her that he is just bored out of his mind. He grabs her stomach and then he spreads the roots apart. He then reaches inside, pulling out the child. Diana and Orion lose Hermes through the roots, and then they land next to Demeter to try a civil approach, to just ask for the baby. But she informs Diana that Ares already took the child, showing Diana the wound in her stomach. Diana turned her attention to Demeter's well-being, and the god of harvest took notice of that. And now she understood why War hates Diana. She cares for others. Over in the ocean, Poseidon is done talking with the firstborn, and he swallows him up in his entirety. Orion then brings Diana back to the hotel. And she feels that she's lost. She doesn't know what to do next. Orion tells her that they'll figure it out. Diana thanks him and he tells her she's kind of cute when she gets mad. Disgusted, Diana walks back into the room to find Ares, the god of war, sitting there, and Zola holding her baby. He returned the child to its mother. Sitting there, drinking his gin, smiling to himself, War tells Diana, "You owe me, little one." Diana holds the baby up, stating, "It's a boy!" And Orion breathes a sigh of relief. It'd be much harder to kill a girl baby. Diana and Zola look at him angrily. "You people are all sexist," Orion says with a smile. "The firstborn has been swallowed and the child is secured. Is this the end of the journey? I don't think so, because Zeus still hasn't returned." Following this, if you want to read the story yourself, go pick up Volume 4, War. That's where it goes next. And we'll be doing these videos a little bit larger so that we can get more stuff into them. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time right here. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, on Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you over at the gaming channel right now if you're interested in gaming comic books. Eligible Monsters, the name.